Welcome to the Atomic Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Osborn. And on this podcast, we interview successful business owners for them to share atomic, impactful lessons that they've learned throughout the course of their business and share them with us so that we can all learn together. As always, the show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way that established businesses are creating a reliable acquisition channel of conversations with their ideal prospects. We use this method to book 26 qualified leads and sales calls in 10 days without any ad spend, outreach in the social media posting, or any of the old, ineffective traditional marketing methods that everybody hates. But to find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn. The link to that will be in the show notes. But on today's show, our special guest is Adam Farmer. Adam is the owner of King Farmer Agency, where he provides digital operations infrastructure using AI. So, Adam, welcome to the show today. And I want to start off by asking you a question that I always love to start off with, which is this. If you were somehow able to go back in time when you started your very first business, but knowing what you know now, what would you do differently in the first 12 months?
Wow. Well, Jason, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to speak to new audiences. Man, my first business, think back. Wow. What would I do in my first 12 months? That's a great question. Well, my first business was when I was 16.
Okay.
So that's a long time ago. And I was in the sales business. So I honestly, I love sales. I don't think in the first 12 months, I just wish that I was older, maybe, and had just the, the vision that I have now, but that's impossible. But I don't think that I would have done anything differently because at 16, I was just learning and I was
Yeah.
learning what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do. And so I like sales, and I've always been in it since you know sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, in a lot of ways, I'm kind of the same way. It's like I don't know if I would change anything because it taught me what I learned. But it's
Yeah,
reflections where if I were to teach somebody else at that age, it's like,
yeah.
yeah, maybe do this instead, so you don't go through the same hard knocks. But yeah, man.
Well, I mean, so my son is 21, and I teach him the same thing. It's like, okay, son, you have to figure out what you don't want so that you know what you do want. So you don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing a lot of stuff that you don't want, that you don't want to
Mhm.
do. So figure that out, and then I'll help to support you for what you do want to do, but you got to figure it out by knowing what you don't want, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, 100%, 100%. You mentioned something that you've always liked sales and been in sales, and a lot of business owners don't. They don't like it.
Mhm, mhm.
They might have just fallen into the business and it's going well for them, or maybe it's something that they are inspired to do, but they just don't feel comfortable
Mhm.
selling. What are let's just say one tip that you would give people, business owners that don't really like selling, but they know they have to do it or the business won't succeed? What's one thing that might make that a little bit easier for them?
What would make it easier for them? So the way that I was taught to sell is selling is about service. And so you have to sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. And selling is about leading and it's about moving people to action. So I just, even though I say it's sales, I'm just having conversations with people and giving them enough information so that they can make a decision about whether or not they either want to meet with me, partner with me, do business with me. And I always tell people now that I'm 52 now, and I always tell people, whether you do business with me or not, I'm still telling you what you need in your business. Like this is what you need. So I'm
Mm,
selling from honesty. Like this is what you need, whether you do business with me or not. You still need to find somebody to help you do this.
yeah, yeah. I love that as well. It's that honest approach, just consultative approach, I think is key. It's the way I've always done it as well. So and
Yeah,
it takes the pressure off feeling like you have to force someone to sell or to buy from you. Because you're not trying
yeah,
to twist their arm into anything.
yeah. And that's the bad rap that sales gets, right? So a lot of people don't they have resistance to it because they think of, used car salesman or slick oil salesman. And it's like, so we have to for those of us who are professionals in this business, we have to overcome all of that. And so what I try to get people to, what I try to understand about people is, it's like, okay, so what bad experience, what bad experiences have you had? And
Mm.
they're quick to tell you about that. And then you say, okay, so what would have needed to change about that experience in order for you to feel better now? Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you, man. Well, as you've grown the business you have now, and all the experience you've had owning businesses throughout the years and things, what's the key thing that has really helped you get the business to where it is right now?
This business that
Yeah,
I'm in now.
yeah.
Oh man, it's the mixture, right? It's the toil of an entrepreneur, like just the raw grit hustle that you have to go through, right? And then to be honest with you, Jason, because I have a technology degree, I love AI. Like like it literally has changed my life because I can now do things for my own business and for my clients' businesses because I spent about 5 years with an offshore development operations team that I employed. It was about 10 software engineers.
Mm,
And we were building apps and doing consulting work, but it was a lot of work.
yeah.
And now because I've trained my I mean, I have an AI software engineering team that literally can do in 2 days what it would take my team to do in a week. So
Wow.
go figure that. Go figure that. But with AI, I subscribe to the philosophy of Mo Gaudat, who wrote the book called Scary Smart. And he said that we have to, as humans, we have to parent our AI. Like we literally have to spend time with it as a parent. And when I heard him say that, I was really intrigued. And that's what I've been doing, Jason, for the last 2 years, like really parenting my AI, just like I
Mm,
do my son, my real
yeah.
son. And if it's wrong, I tell it, where'd you get that from? And now I'm able to deliver that for my clients. And my clients are just like they understand it, that they understand the result. And when I try to tell them how I got to the result, they're like, Adam, you're speaking foreign language to me. And I'm
Mm,
like, but as long as I'm getting you the result that you want, you're still paying the invoices. That's fine with me. You don't have
yeah,
to
yeah.
understand how we got there. But yeah, so it is the mixture of that grind that entrepreneurs have. And now for me, and what I try to teach to people is AI really can give humans the analog life that we all want. We want to be more human.
Mm,
And your analog life can now be powered by an automated business. And the
mm.
way we power that automated business is through AI. So that's what we do at King Pharma Agency.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. There's just so much technology that's moving forward and helping out businesses, which is really powerful. One of the things that, because you've been in business so long, I'd like to ask you this question, and it's a question I ask quite a lot, and it's around challenges in business because we all have them. It's as business owners, it can be very isolating. Sometimes we can feel like we're the only one that's ever had this problem ever. Somehow it's unique to us, which obviously it's not, but it can feel that way. And so I like to just normalize it and say, okay, well, look, we all have issues and challenges. We just want to go, okay, we're in this together. So having said all that,
Yeah. Yep.
it doesn't matter which business you've had or anything like that, but what's been the number one biggest business challenge that you've had at any point in time? And what's the lesson that you learned from that?
Mm. For me, you talked about for me.
Yeah, for
All
you.
right. So for me, I've been an entrepreneur since before it was cool, right? Since 2000. Like I don't know how old you are, Jason, but if you can remember Y2K,
Yep.
we thought that the world was going to come to an end, and I was working in the technology field here in Chicago, and I was laid off right after Y2K. So that was the
Wow.
beginning of my entrepreneurial journey. I got my first pink slip in like March of 2000, something like that. Started my entrepreneurial journey, and you just go through those years and highs and lows where you're no longer dependent on a W-2 check, right? I
Mm-hmm.
haven't been dependent on one in over 25 years. And so you always have to wrestle with, I always had to wrestle with, should I go and get a job, right? And I'm not, I'm not anti-job, right? I'm not
Yeah.
anti-job. If that's what you have to do, then you have to do what you have to do. But I was just so focused on my vision and what I knew was possible. I would always say, okay, it would take me X amount of time to fill out resumes or reach out to people for a job. It would take me X amount of time for interviews, rounds of interviews. And then if I get a job, uh, then I'm going to have to, you know, wait for my first paycheck. So when you look at it in terms of how much time it's going to take you between at a minimum 30 days, at a maximum 90 days before you get your first paycheck.
Mm.
So then I would always say, in my business, what kind of revenue generating activities can I have to produce
Mm-hmm.
a result for me in 90 days?
Yeah.
Can I do for myself in my business? Do I believe enough in what I'm doing that in the next 90 days I'll be better off financially than I was in the first 90 days?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And for me, what I had to do was I did have to find coaches and mentors. And it's a lot easier now because of so much information. So you have to really know how to sift and sort through people who really have real world experience. So I always look for people who they have the receipts, like they can tell you, like me, I can tell you about the losses and the fatigue and the doubting and all of the costs that are in it to make
Yeah.
sure that this is something for you, because entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
um it's mostly for frustrated, people who try to do entrepreneurship. They're frustrated at their job, or they just
Yeah.
got laid off, and then they think they can do it better than the boss, and then they
Mm-hmm.
find out all of the things that the
Yeah.
bosses and the organizations have provided for you that you didn't
Yeah.
account for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. 100%.
so that's always that challenge is like, deep down, is this alignment with my purpose? Is this vision that I have, is it worth all of the costs that are going to be associated with it? Because
Yeah.
you don't know when you're going to get there. And guess what? When you get there, you're going to feel like you're not there.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. I always tell people that it's a weird thing. We can talk about that later because I have a term that I've coined around that. But yeah. Yeah. Well, let's say over the next 2 to 3 years, Adam, like what's the goal for
Mhm.
your business? What would you like to achieve?
Yeah, so I love what I'm doing now. So King Pharma Agency, I call it a digital COO, right? It's a digital assets holding company. So a lot of people have a lot of information in their head, whether personally or about their business. And I'm looking for people who have businesses where they either don't have a website, or they're still running it like it's a mom and pop, like paper, and you
Mm,
still got receipts and shoe boxes and that sort of stuff.
yeah.
And we need to digitally transfer those things into digital assets, right? So we'll build and operate your digital assets for you. We come in as your digital COO. I spend a
Nice.
lot of time with CEOs, and they need a number two that can run their day-to-day operations. I spent 20 years being in that number two seat. Now King Pharma Agency is my 25 years of experience as a digital COO. I know what the business owner needs next, right? So that they can be visionaries. They can leave, they
Yeah.
can have the analog life, right?
Yeah.
And then we partner with you to become your digital COO and automate everything. Now,
Yeah.
why is that important? Because I know that there are people out there who've been in business for 25, maybe 30 years now, right? That business has done everything that they've wanted it to do. It has bought their home, it has paid for their weddings, it's put their children through school. And now they're like, okay, so I don't want to keep doing this forever. And they need an event. They want to either exit or they want to grow through an acquisition of some sort.
Mm.
And so what we do is we come in and help you to prepare for that, right? Because no matter whether you're going to sell the business or you're going to buy another business, you're still going to need to get through the financial institution's due diligence process,
Yeah.
and they're going to want you to be digitally organized. So that's what we can come in and help you do. Put together a plan, 3 to 5 years. What do you want to be, so we can be in a position to exit? But you got to start now, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of expertise around that. And so that's what I want to do. I just want to keep talking to people every day and meeting with people every week. And, you never know, maybe I'll sign a client or two every month.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. Well, for people that are wanting to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
LinkedIn is the best way to do that. Or you can go to my website, kingfarmeragency.com. That's KINGFARMER agency.com. And I'm, as Coach Deion Sanders says, I ain't hard to find.
Yeah, good, 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 amazing. Well, I definitely recommend check out Adam to everyone listening if you feel like he can help you out with any things that he's mentioned today on the show. So, Adam, thank you so much for taking the time out to be on and just sharing your wisdom and experience. Really appreciate that. It's been a great pleasure having you on the show today. And as a reminder to everyone listening, this show is sponsored by the LinkedIn Reverse Podcast Method, the new way that established businesses are creating a reliable acquisition channel of conversations with their ideal prospects that doesn't rely on any of the old, ineffective traditional marketing methods that everybody hates. And to find out more, direct message me on LinkedIn, have a chat. That's Jason A. Osborn. The link to that's in the show notes below. But until next episode, stay inspired.